Hair slayed over there.
Dude, it's too much time on my hands at this point that I was like, screw it, I'll just straighten the mane. It took me like 2 hours.
2 hours to straighten it?
Yeah.
Why? Is it
But
like a long process?
so curly.
Oh, I got you. I got you.
Ridiculously long.
Is your hair naturally curly?
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, yeah. Don't let the mustache scare you and the glasses.
It's the I tell everyone that I see now with a mustache, it's the quarantine crustache.
That yeah, that's. I was like, I like never do anything now. Everything's closed. I'm like, do something different.
It's cool. My boyfriend's growing out like his beard and everything too.
Gotcha. Yeah, I think everybody's doing something. So
No shave
anyway,
November all over again.
huh?
It's no shave November all over again.
Yeah, yeah. It's just starting at a different month.
Yeah,
It,
exactly.
I was before we like get on the topic of today. I was just kind of going through like YouTube, and
Uh-huh.
I'm I'm big into like videos that like motivational videos and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Not necessarily people talking, but like when they compile like different trainings and stuff like that. And wanted to give a shout out to whoever this is, but it's the channel is Infinity, like just the way you spell it, and eight, the number eight, and Oleg, Oleg. He's got a ton of motivational videos. They're like insane. Like I mean, they're so good. He combines like movies and then just like lifting. A lot of it is powerlifting, but it's still like even though I don't really power lift, but it really gets me going. I was just sitting here watching him, just getting hyped to go train later today.
That's
So
awesome. Yeah, I saw you got bands and stuff too.
yeah. I got them all. Started using them. You know, it makes a difference, man. It really makes a difference because sometimes I didn't even like. I would think so. I put like 35s on each side, and I thought, oh well, this is so light, and I put some bands on. I couldn't even raise it, and I was like, okay, well, yeah, now this is legit. Like this is what I'm looking for, you know. So
I tried to go buy more resistance bands and ankle weights at Target, but everyone bought them all. I was so like,
yeah.
so I got two more sets of dumbbells. I got 3 pounds for like doing shoulder mobility stuff, and then a 10 pounds. And then when they get back in stock, I'm gonna run down there.
Yeah, I mean, do you have a problem with getting it online?
No, I think Amazon Prime has some too. So if they
Mhm.
don't have it by this week, then I'll probably do Amazon Prime. It's become my best friend.
Yeah, I'll send you a link to the where I got it from, the company where I got it from. It's up to you, you know, if you want to get it from them. But it's worked out for me. So they've got a lot of different stuff.
Cool, cool, cool.
But besides what I was going to mention was that do you know who Steffi Cohen is? Any idea? So she's this power lifter, and they have a motivational video of her, and it is so she's such a beast. She's
Dang.
such an animal, and she's a overall she's like a small girl. I mean, she's very muscular, but overall she's a small girl. But I mean, she is such an animal. I was watching her lift. It's unreal. Yeah, it was crazy. I was like putting putting me to shame, and so I was watching. I was like, I'm definitely gonna have to like work out today. I can't take a day off after watching that video. So.
No, I took yesterday off just because I worked out like 6 days in a row. So I was like, okay,
Mm.
rest day.
Yeah, no, you definitely need rest days for sure. Like when I was younger, I used to like just be just gun ho every day, and then I realized I actually looked better if I took like a couple of rest days or something a week.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but anyways, what else is new with you?
Not much. Like I said, school started last week, so it's been kind of hectic to organize like the Zoom calls on top of everything else, like on top of my scheduled Zoom stuff that I'm doing for yoga. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm teaching online and I'm doing workshops online. So that's been a nice way to kind of like implement, getting some money during this time. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to come up with some other ideas too, but
Yeah.
still trying to focus on school. But
How long is how long is school lasting? Like when's your next break and stuff?
I think we're finishing around May 9th, so about another month, so that's not bad. I mean, they decided since there was too many factors to try to extend the semester because of what happened, that they were like, no, we're just going to end everything right when we're supposed to, and everyone's going to just have to rearrange their syllabus. So that's what
So,
happened. I'm complaining 3
yeah, I
less.
mean, that's good for you. You don't have to worry about anything with regard to that, like trying to maneuver stuff. So is it difficult, like with Zoom, using Zoom for classes? I mean, like we use it for podcasts, it's great, but
Yeah.
how is it with a ton of people in there?
Well, it's fine with the people, like that's not the problem, but because it's a music based, degree, that's where the hard part comes in because as you can imagine, if you and I just have some tech glitches and there's no music really playing, I'm
Hmm.
trying to have to pick up, all of the bass, try to get a decent sound quality for your instrument. It's just not the same. But I mean, it does the job and you get to connect with people and you still get to talk
Right.
to them. So that's been really nice. It is like some kind of facial connection with people.
Hmm. But I mean, a lot of your development comes from like personal, like playing yourself, right? Just
Yeah, one on one, like in your face, like not in your face, but just like face to face, like your
mhm,
ear just picks up so much more of the sound,
sure,
and it's completely different over the internet. As you can imagine, it can get
sure.
watered down, and because some of the notes are so low, actually Zoom will count it as background noise and like cancel it out. So
Hmm.
sometimes if you're playing in a lower register on your instrument, they can't even hear you.
Mm,
Like the bass teacher is like, I can't hear
right.
anyone. I don't know how to give a lesson at this point. He's just like listening to nothing.
Yeah, it's crazy, and it seems like we haven't spiked, like we haven't crescent with the corona thing because it looks like it's still going up and up. You know how like usually like once you kind of crescent, like then you start kind of coming down, on the other end, and it's like it seems like we're still like on the climb, like it hasn't peaked yet. So,
Yeah. But one of my professors was telling me that these next 2 weeks are actually there's supposed to be like a spike in cases.
oh Lord.
So he was like, if you can, don't even go out to get groceries at this point. Like get everything you need like ASAP, and then try not to go out for the next 2 weeks
Yeah,
because
my wife just messaged me. She said they were saying that corona symptoms come on quick, so it's not even like you know, they'll hit you hard immediately. So I was waking up this morning and I felt like just shortness of breath, and then immediately I was like, oh man, do I have corona? I was like, I don't know. I feel fine now, but I was like in the morning when I was like falling asleep and then like waking up, and I don't know if it was mental or what, but immediately my mind went to that, So
no, I know I had a super migraine yesterday. My stomach was hurting yesterday. I was like, oh God, no.
you're like it's corona.
Or 2 days ago, no, but I feel a lot better today.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't think
We're all
we would be
just
feeling.
at this point too.
Say what? Say again.
Everyone's a little paranoid at this point.
Yeah, yeah, I think so. I mean, rightfully so, but yeah. It's so we were talking about just kind of going over like some basics. So like first thing that we were talking off air was about what you should keep like in your gym bag. Do you have like any ideas like what you would suggest people like, especially like when they first start out?
Yeah, first starting out, I always, especially now though with Corona, I would always say bring your own towel. So that way you can like have, your towel on the machines. You're not touching anyone else's germs. You can obviously disinfect it at the gym. So obviously, but I think having your own sweat towel is handy. I don't know about you, but I'm a super sweater at the gym. And I just think it's gross whenever, you can even just see like drips from other people that use the machine before you. And it's like, so I just like to use that for myself and to also like wipe down anything that I obviously don't want to touch. So I do that. Depending, obviously a lot of people are on the go. So I would always say bring your shower stuff. And if you're going to shower at the gym, bring shower shoes. So that way you can avoid getting any kind of like athlete's foot or fungus whenever you shower in the showers. I always bring my protein. Like I'll bring it in one of those like on the go stacks that you can get at Target. So that way you don't have to deal with like a Ziploc bag and powder getting everywhere.
Hmm.
Obviously, you should already have your shaker bottle or your water bottle with you, and then like a change of clothes and a towel and a toothbrush. So that's what I usually bring in mine because I have to go from the gym straight somewhere else.
So you're basically like packing like you would for a plane, like a plane, right? You've got everything in there.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. just to be on the safe side, because you hate, like, you know, what if something comes up last minute, you have to run to,
Sure.
and you're like, crap, I smell awful.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Sure. So the whole thing about the powder in the Ziploc bags, there was a guy at my gym. That's always like what he did. It was just put it in a Ziploc bag and then mix it up with water and then rip out the bottom part and like chug it through through the bottom part of it.
Okay.
I mean, I guess it worked for him. He said I was talking to him about it later, and he was like, "It's just what I've done all these years." So it's like, yeah, just stuck with it. But I definitely prefer a shaker bottle, though.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I used to, before I found the like stacks, I used to just like puncture a small hole into my
Hmm.
bag and use it as a funnel. But even then, it's all chunky and gross.
Sure, sure. I don't know. Have you ever had like issues with like bottles holding like smell, the protein smell? Like it gets even when you wash it. Have you ever had that happen or no?
Yeah, I have. It's gross.
And if you let it sit, you might as well just throw it away. If you forget to wash it, it's like nothing you can do. The best thing I found was just to like leave bleach in it for a day or two, and it kind of like gets rid of that smell. But it's a battle. I mean, it sure is a battle. Um, so what was the other thing? Oh, and another weird, so kind of gross but weird thing. If the showering shoes, that's definitely important. But if you want to get rid of any kind of like bacteria as far as causing athlete's feet, I read years ago, I read that if you actually urinate or pee in the shower by your feet, it kills the athlete's foot bacteria.
What
The ammonia from your, say that again. I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
How many people are going to be peeing in that shower at that point?
So it should be really disinfecting from athletes' feet if everyone pees in the shower.
Like, that's good for dudes, but for women's anatomy, that
Yeah,
doesn't.
yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, here's an idea for the guys. Yeah.
Yeah,
But shower shoes probably would be the more practical way to go. Yeah.
yeah, true, true, true.
So I looked up this article. I don't know the website here, Pureology.com, and
Okay.
they mentioned some like things that people should keep in their gym bag. So one thing that they said was sneakers, because and my wife did this like several times, where she went to the gym and then realized she doesn't have shoes to train in. So it was like they're saying good to keep sneakers, just in case you forget or something like that. Also, like headphones, which
Oh, yeah, true, yeah.
that's I've done that. So my wife did the shoe thing. I've done the headphone thing where I would come to the gym, forget my headphones, and it's different. I mean, it wasn't terrible to work out without music, but it's
No, but
definitely like different.
the gym music is not what you just have Katy
No,
playing while you're doing a deadlift. You're like,
yeah,
this is
yeah.
not right.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, no, definitely not. Now I will say there is something like if I don't have my music, I rather have no music because I do like the clinking of the weights and stuff like that. But if they're playing Britney Spears, it kind of nullifies everything.
Yeah, it makes me mad too. Like there was a few times where I did that at Planet, because I go to Planet Fitness right across this. Well,
Hmm.
whenever everything's.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah,
Theoretically
yeah,
speaking. Yeah.
where I go, and I forgot my headphones, and yeah, I totally agree. There was like one time there wasn't any music, and so like it's kind of strangely meditative. You get into like that rhythm whenever you
Hmm.
do, like, if you're doing upper body thing, like, dumbbell chest presses,
Sure.
like that, you feel in a rhythm. But yeah, it's for me, it's so much more distracting to have like crap that I don't want to hear in the background. And actually, what I read was like a study is if, you're listening to something that you don't necessarily want to listen to and you're also trying to focus, you can actually cause more headaches because your brain is working harder to try to filter out the other noise
Hmm.
to focus on the things that you're trying to focus on in your head. So it's almost an even bigger distraction to have the music you actually don't even want to be hearing in the background.
Yeah, that makes sense. For me, I feel weaker. Like if that makes any sense. Whenever there's music that I don't really like, it's hard to get myself going. So
For sure.
yeah.
We have like our go-to gym playlists.
Yeah. So another thing that they mentioned was a reusable water bottle, which I mean, let's hope everybody has water with them. Gym clothes, dry shampoo, which you mentioned shampoo, but they said dry for some reason. There must be a reason behind it, but
Yeah, I mean, for women, we're actually not supposed to. I mean, for women and men, but women more notoriously, like we're not supposed to wash our hair every single day or even every other day. So, if you if you pack a shower cap because you don't wash your hair, just to keep everything clean or at least smelling nice, you do want to at least run a dry shampoo through.
so tell me what that is, because I don't even know what dry shampoo is. Like, is it, do you just rub it in and leave it, or what?
Yeah, so you want to get like a decent brand where like there was one brand, I think it was Dove, and theirs just leaves like a giant white streak on your hair. No, it's literally the texturized, basically aerosol version of the shampoo you would use in the
Hmm,
shower. So it's still good to like clean your roots and to keep everything clean, like just clean and
yeah,
smell nice. But like whenever you do wash your hair, like in the shower, it strips your hair of natural oils. So that's actually not as good for you to do. So that's why they recommend to use the dry shampoo so you can still feel clean to where you're not getting dandruff, things like that, but you're not actually running hot water through your hair to strip the hair of its natural oils because that actually damages it more.
gotcha. Well, that makes sense then.
Yeah.
The other one is, there's a little tidbit on education on hair, from you. So like shower essentials, which you mentioned, like cleansing wipes, which now is like
Definitely.
trying to find them. I still have trouble finding like hand sanitizer and stuff.
I haven't looked for hand sanitizer. Luckily, I'm so happy Pennsylvania has calmed down. There is toilet paper and paper towels available
Yeah,
now.
that's fantastic. I don't know what you would have done. I swear.
Seriously, my dogs have been losing their minds lately.
Your dogs? Why?
Yeah, they've just been making messes and just like
Oh,
trying to fight each other. And like we walk them more than we ever have. I'm like, why are you guys making more messes? You guys are out in the sunshine more. I don't understand you
maybe they
dogs.
know. Maybe they know it's a quarantine. They're like having cabin fever or something. I don't know.
Always sick of us being here all the time.
When y'all leave, they probably just like have dog parties, invite their friends over. Now they can't do that. So they mentioned deodorant. They mentioned wide tooth comb. What is that? Oh, like just a comb for your hair, I guess.
Yeah,
Okay, all right. That's a new one for me. Um, Compact microfiber towel.
I'm
The,
assuming that would be like a sweat towel.
Yeah, well, they have a little blurb. I actually clicked on the link before. I was just looking at it from the Google screen, but it says sometimes gym towels don't always get the job done. So always ensure that you have a clean, fresh towel after your workout by bringing your own from home. Like
Yeah.
maybe putting microfiber towels are like good because they pick up, you know, um, stuff that's like micro. So there you go.
Yeah.
Makes any sense? And a snack, which you mentioned too. Yeah,
Like protein shake or a protein bar.
yeah. I've been in situations where I went to train, forgot like a snack, or forgot like protein, and had to go to work afterwards. It really sucks.
Yeah, I can't. I hate that. I'll literally like, even though they're not nearly as good, I'll literally just stop off at a gas station and go get one of those muscle milks.
Hmm.
So I'm like, I need something because otherwise I'm gonna be so hangry for the rest of the day.
Yeah, those muscle milks were like what I lived on when I was a kid, thinking that that's the creme de la creme of, of protein shakes. Then
I think we all go through that phase.
yeah. Then I realized not so much. Like after I started getting fat, I'm like, wait a minute. Have you have you
Math, the Sarah Paulson meme with all the numbers.
what is it?
Oh my gosh, I have to send you. It's so funny. It's the Sarah Paulson meme, like where she's like trying to do math.
Oh, yeah.
Gosh, it's like 24 plus
I think
whatever.
you can even share it on the screen if you have it pulled up. There should be an option to share. I don't know. I could be wrong. Maybe.
Hold up. Maybe.
Have you ever, while you're looking that up, have you ever seen Mean Girls?
Yeah, I have.
So like there was a scene in there where she's like feeding the main girl like protein bars,
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
telling her that those are like like
Yeah, that they're,
calorie burning like protein
yeah.
bars. And then her boyfriend goes, "Oh yeah, that's why are you eating those? My our wrestling coach tries to give it to us when we need to like go up in weight."
Wait, can you see my screen or not
Yeah, I
yet?
can. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so that one where she's like, doing,
Sarah Pong's playing.
it's just like, oh, it's like, it doesn't add up.
Yeah, I'm like 2 plus 2 wasn't equaling 4, so I was like, there it was equaling like 25 for some reason. So yeah, I had to let that go. So some other stuff that we were talking about was like I guess initially like upper lower body parts. Think you have any ideas on that?
Yeah, so like for you, I know you're very upper body, like, whew, you have big. So I was gonna say you should like what should both men and women, what are some basic like beginner things you can start out with like the free weights, like with
Okay.
dumbbells, basic
Like
like upper exercises.
yeah, so I mean, if you have dumbbells, there's not an exercise that you can't do. There's not a body part that you can't work if you have dumbbells, which is why like the gym is nice, but if you have a decent amount of dumbbells or decent weight of dumbbells at home, you don't need anything else. You can do any exercise there is. So, I mean, for back, you can do like bent over flies, you can do rows, you can do you can even do deadlifts with just holding, the dumbbells in your hands. Um, Obviously, like bicep, triceps, so you can do curls, you can do extensions, bend over extensions, you can do overhead. Um, Presses for triceps, any kind of movement forward or side with the dumbbell will work your shoulders.
Raises, try.
Yeah, so I would always stick with like and this really is important when you're starting out. It's important all the way through, really, but especially when you're starting out to build your core and your base. Um, you really want to do like these. Hold on. Can you hear me? Okay. It was like having some feedback. Are you hear me okay?
Yeah,
Okay.
great.
Okay. All right. So yeah. So basically, like compound movements, like I said, deadlifts, shoulder presses, like things of that. I mean, I would say squats for like lower, but if you're at home, that might be tough to do. You could do it with like the dumbbell in your hands. You could do that. Uh, so that always stick with the basic compound movements, the ones that build your structure, and then everything else is like the little isolation movements is great, but they start becoming more effective later on. If you don't have a good strong like structure, the isolation movements aren't really going to benefit you as much.
Yeah, so you would say, so if you go to the gym, like if you're just starting out, I think good foundational exercises before you even hit the weights would, like you said, core stabilizers. So maybe doing planks, rounds of planks, doing some push-ups, definitely if you're going to go into some upper body that day. I definitely recommend a dynamic warm-up. So it's stretching, but you're also getting some kind of foundational movement in. So you can do you can do calf raises
Mm-hmm.
in a wider stance. That way you can warm up the lower body. You can do wide straddle twists. So that's working the core, but also, you're warming up your
What is
back.
that?
So, I mean, should I show you?
Sure, why not? Show it.
So, I do these. I don't know how well you can probably see. There's my yoga.
Yeah, I can see it. Good.
So you have your legs in a wide straddle stance, and you're coming up and down.
Gotcha. Okay.
A wombat with this.
Gotcha. Do you do that like non-weighted, or you do it with weights?
Non-weighted, that's like what I mean by dynamic warm-up. So you're still getting stretches in, but you're still moving the body to where you're not like, oh, when is this stretch over? You know what I mean? And then doing, you could always do some, just basic like shoulder circles, things like that for your warm-up. And then, for upper body, like you said, you can do bicep curls, you can do overhead presses, you can do tricep kickbacks, you could do like the Arnold presses.
Right.
And for basics for legs, I would say a lot of people tend to, for whatever reason, skip out on quad stuff, like doing any kind of leg extensions. Everyone's like, oh, squats, 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 squats. And that's great. Yeah, squats are definitely a foundational and compound movement for your body. But I would also say don't neglect, like you said, isolating your legs. So doing maybe some leg extensions, hamstring curls along with your squats.
Sure.
That's a pretty nice way to have a base line going in for whenever you do go into the gym.
I mean, I don't think so. Like, I agree with you. Like, as far as I think you need those things. You definitely need like extensions and other things. But what I guess my point was, don't, like, if you're just starting out, don't like go in there and just do like extensions or things of that. Like, if you want to throw it in with squats, like, definitely do that for sure. So.
You're on the same page there. And I think too, what's really important is that when you're first going in there, it can feel very intimidating because there's going to be people there, that you're not used to seeing. They're probably not used to seeing you, so you will probably get some looks, but it's not in a bad way. I think people just try to get familiarized with their gym, so people do naturally look around. So don't take it personally when you do walk into the gym for the first time. It's not like everyone's waiting for you to mess up. And also, on the contrary, if you don't know the proper form for something, I personally am not afraid to ask like other people who I feel like have gotten good results. I'll be like, hey, can you check my form here? I don't think I'm doing this right. I would feel comfortable asking someone else, and also start out with less weight than you think you need. Like, it's so much better to start with less weight and build up versus going way too hard. You're trying to keep up with everyone else around you, so you don't feel like the odd one out, and then you want to do it yourself.
Yeah, it's the ego lifting is a problem. And don't get me wrong. I mean, if you want to lift like a PR or something like that, that's great. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you're not in a position, like, let's just say, if you can't do with proper form, a 50-pound dumbbells presses, shoulder presses, I'm just throwing that as an example, then like you don't need to be doing that, because you're not getting the benefit from it. And the scary thing is, more than just not getting the benefit from straining yourself to try to push it up, you're gonna not only use your shoulders but other muscles, and then you can really like pull something or tear something. And that's really the scary part of it.
Yeah, definitely. And I think a lot of people just, they want to get in there and they see everyone lifting heavy, and it can be very motivational, obviously, but everyone, I would say the most important thing too going in is making sure you're very anatomically aware of your body, and that you're noticing, like even little twitches of your muscle that can change something, and you can also injure yourself. So just notice what is comfortable versus, there's comfortable, there's uncomfortable, and there's also injury and versus soreness. So you have to get to know your body in a fundamental way where you can start to tell the difference between something that is hurting you because it's injuring you and pushing you to make you sore. And that's a very fine line as well.
Right. So yeah, some people like don't, there's a difference between hurting because it's like it's an injury waiting to happen, or hurting that it feels good. And I mean, there is a distinct difference in how these things feel. But if you're new, you might not understand that. Like, you might think, oh, well, it's supposed to hurt like this, but maybe it's not. Maybe this is like your body telling you need to stop doing it that way,
Yeah, definitely. And there's usually, depending on what gym you go to, like, Planet Fitness, there's usually like a personal trainer usually running around there. And I would assume that of most places, because that's how it was also at LA Fitness when I used to go there. So if you're not sure if something is hurting, there's usually a trainer or someone around that you can probably ask, like, hey, how is this supposed to feel? Like, this is hurting. Like, what can I do to supplement it? Is there something to engage more, et cetera, et cetera.
Right. Yeah, I mean, you have to respect the process. Like to get to the heavier weights, you have to. There's a process. You don't go from you don't do 50-pound jumps. You don't do 25-pound jumps. You start at a good weight where you can have good form and it gives you tension. Then that weight becomes lighter to you. Sorry, my phone just keeps going off. Group messages. Um, and so you gain a little bit strength, and then you add a little more weight, and then that's eventually how you get to a certain point, and eventually you plateau. You're not gonna It's not gonna constantly keep going up. You're still a
Yeah.
human being, so um, but you have to respect the process, because people that don't respect the process, they always have problems. Like, I've never been seriously injured, but that's because I understand that, like, yeah, I can lift heavy, but I have to be modest. I have to be humble in the way I lift too. So
Well, and I think in this fitness culture, everyone treats fitness like it's going to go away tomorrow for some reason. So you have to have the biggest, whatever set of muscles now.
hmm
The beautiful part is whenever you are lifting, as I'm sure you know, like we have the rest of our lives to continuously reach whatever goals that we want. So why would we rush that anyway? You know what I mean? Because if,
sure,
after a while you would get bored.
right,
If you got to your best record in 6 months, like, okay, now why am I going to continue lifting? Like, you want to push yourself at a steady pace, but also know that, there is no rush. You
yeah.
can enjoy the process, so you can have fun.
Yeah, and something that like motivates me is when I see people that are like in their 50s and 60s, and they look amazing. And then because you often hear, oh, once you get to a certain age, you start looking terrible, or it's not the same. And it's like, it might not be the same, but if it was impossible, then these people wouldn't look like that. The ones that I'm referring to. So
Yeah.
so it's definitely possible. It's just a matter of whether you want to, put the work into it. So
It's definitely worth it. Like my dad is like in insane shape and he's in his mid 50s, you know what I mean? So it's like
hmm
it's really cool to see that as well, even within your own family. Like,
yeah.
and one of my aunts, oh my gosh, you would not guess that she is in her 70s. She's literally like a size zero. She's got these huge biceps, and I'm like,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah,
You are not
it's
years old.
that's it. That's like that. Looking at, seeing somebody like that is definitely motivational. There's a guy. He's in his 50s, but I did not know it. Our neighbor, and he runs regularly here, and runs without his shirt off. And I'm like, man, he looks incredible. That's before I found out that he was in his 50s. I thought he was like in his 30s or maybe early 40s. And then it's like, that's it's definitely possible, and it's definitely cool to see somebody just keep doing it and enjoy it. Not just do it because they have to, but like actually enjoy, living that kind of lifestyle.
And the other thing too for people who are just starting out is your nutrition is going to be so key to
hmm
this entire process. Like, yes, drinking your protein is important. Yes, you can drink BCAAs, and that's great too. But also, you have to be eating your protein. Whether that means you're vegan, vegetarian, or a meat eater, you still have to be eating some sort of protein, drinking some sort of protein, getting the right amount of vegetables. You always want to say, like my trainer always says, have a colorful palette. So have your
hmm
reds, your yellows, your greens, like you have peppers, you can have carrots, you can have spinach, have all of the colors on your plate as
Yeah.
well. You don't want to just think that, oh, because I worked out, I'm going to go eat XYZ, like a
Right.
cheat day once in a while, once a week,
Right.
fine. But don't think that if you don't change the way that you're eating too, or if you're just drinking protein all the time, that it's really going to have the most results. It's all in conjunction with each other, and
Mhm.
also knowing that it's not going to happen overnight.
Yeah. For me, that was one of my biggest problems. I had two major problems. One problem, well, I have many problems, but these are the two major ones regarding to fitness. And when I first started out, I thought, like you were mentioning, that like protein is this like miracle molecule that like does amazing things. So as long as you're drinking a ton of protein or eating a ton of protein, then like everything else doesn't matter, which is obviously not the case.
Yeah.
And then the other thing that I found out over time was, it is, if you have a choice, it's always better to eat than to take it in like liquefied form, whatever it is. But most of the time it's protein, but if you can get it through food, because there's certain enzymes in food that
Hmm.
aren't that just shakes don't have, and those enzymes help digest and get it to the right places and all that stuff. So
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah, yeah. Oh, so as far as cardio, I know we were also discussing like what kind of cardio should someone indulge in when they're, especially when they're first starting out. Like, how did you get like into cardio? Did you do much cardio when you first started fitness?
I did when I first started when I was super young because at the time the beauty standards were completely different. This was 10 years ago. So
Hmm.
everyone wanted to be super, super thin and, very, tall, statuesque, long limbs, like a Victoria's Secret model.
Hmm.
I was on the treadmill every single day. And, to a point where it wasn't necessarily the healthiest, to be completely
Right.
honest. So I was always on the treadmill, and I'd force myself to do at least an hour on the treadmill,
Hmm.
and that got very mundane and boring for my body. Now, what I really enjoy doing is the stairmaster, but I'll cap it literally 10 to 15 minutes. I'll just do it as a warm up.
Hmm.
And if I want to say I'm doing glutes that day, I'll actually halfway through, we'll cut it. Well, I'll stop it and I'll put a resistance band on and then I'll keep doing it because then you're able to activate your glutes, but you're also burning fat at the same time. And also, when it comes to cardio, I don't know. I feel like it depends on what you're going for. So I feel like if you're going to do hit fasted cardio to like lose fat, then it depends on what you want to do. Like if you want to run for a mile or two in the morning, or if you wanted to do like a hit circuit for 15 minutes.
Hmm.
So I think it just depends. At least for beginners, I think if you're going to do any kind of hit, I would suggest doing like 3 rounds of like mountain climbers, switch lunges, and like burpees, but without the actual push-ups. So just up, back to a
Hmm.
up. And you can do that for, challenge yourself starting at 30 seconds, 45, then a minute.
Yeah.
Other things. It just depends on the goals, I guess, of the
Yeah. Yeah. I hate burpees. I hate.
they're literally my favorite exercise.
It's a lot of up and down. It's a lot of up and down.
I love, and I do it. I instead of jumping the plank, I jump straight into a push up and then
Hmm.
all the way up. So
Yeah.
it's
Yeah. You're very serious with your burpees. Yeah.
anyone that takes my power yoga classes know that you're gonna get some kind of burpee thrown in there. And I'm like, if I'm dying, we're all gonna do it together. So burpees. Here we go.
And so like my favorite cardio was like the Stairmaster because I feel I get like the most out of it. But with everything kind of being shut down and no gyms, like I've been just trying to diversify my cardio. So like I've got like a bag. I think I've said that before in another episode. I've got a bag hanging up, so I work on that. I've got a slam ball, so kind of like a hit type of
Nice.
situation there. I really wanted to. Me and my wife went walking and jogging, and there's a park here that apparently we still can go to, so that's good. Um, I wanted to get some bikes and just start cycling.
Yeah.
I went to Walmart because like the bike stores aren't open, like REI and stuff like that. They're not open. So I went to Walmart, empty. Like it was like 3 bikes left. They had hundreds. Like I guess so so it's not just the weights. It's like anything having to do with like exercise is now like gold. It's worth its weight in gold.
I know, and I shouldn't get annoyed, because it's a really good thing that it's a blessing in disguise that it took this virus for people to really start prioritizing their health. So that's an amazing thing that I'm super grateful for and happy about because I've been trying to tell people, and I'm sure it's the same for you, for years to take care of themselves, that our bodies can only handle so much, that our brains can only handle so much. So take care of your body, take care of your mind, rest when you can, and so I think it's good. I think it's a good thing, but at the same time it's like, hey, companies, we need more
Right.
weights and bikes.
Right. I mean, you can't really blame people if they want. I mean, they wanted a bike just like I wanted a bike. They just happened to get there before before I did. But yeah, I mean, like you gotta it, you gotta keep it in stock. I mean, I don't know. There's just
The demand just was like skyrocketed
yeah,
over, supply and demand was not the same at all for
sure.
the
Sure. Yeah, no, absolutely. So, I mean, I think we covered pretty much everything we did in about an hour. So, just like that, it's funny how fast like these things go. Like it seems like we've only been talking for like 15, 20 minutes, but it's already been an hour.
Yeah.
So yeah, awesome. Well, all right. Go have a great day and enjoy your quarantine time.
Oh, I shall. I'm going on a walk.
You are? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Take the dogs. Make sure
Walk.
they don't pee in your house again.
God, I know.
All
I'll see you on the next one.
right, take care.